Hey everyone, um, I'm safely at home. I um, I just ate, had a nap, showered, of course. So I'm feeling all right. My legs are a lot heavy, uh, but of course that's probably to be expected. I'm still kind of tired, but I just couldn't sleep for more than 3 hours. So just gonna hang out for a while and then I'll go to sleep for good for the night. But I just wanted to give you the extended version of the situation in case some of you missed post or I know a lot of you were sharing with your friends. So something you can pass to them so they can get the whole story and even the stuff I didn't mention. So I'll just start from the beginning. So first of all, let me just get my feelings about the preparedness out of the way. So, I distinctly remember on Monday sending an email to my boss in the UK saying, oh, by the way, there's going to be some crazy weather happening on Wednesday, well, really Tuesday afternoon, and we're probably not going to be in on Wednesday, just an FYI. So, if I, a lay citizen, knew exactly what was going to happen and in and of myself was prepared as much as I can be, then why were the powers that be not? Did they not take the warning seriously? I knew what's up 2 days ahead. We got all these new salt trucks and whatnot. Didn't even use them. So that's my feelings on the situation, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. So, the only reason I went to work, even though I knew things were going to be out of hand, of course, I didn't expect it to be that out of hand. I don't think anyone did. Um, I went to work because I had a meeting to go to, um, and I didn't have like a conference call number I could call in on, so I had to be there in person. But I left as soon as I could, which was around 12:45. So, well, of course, it was too late by then, but I didn't know this. I thought it was just going to take an hour, maybe two to get home, just like it always does. This has happened to us like 3 times already. So, um, when I left work, I had a quarter tank of gas left. That was more than enough to get home, you know. Um, but I was not expecting to be sitting on the highway. I work in Alpharetta. I live in Cobb County, so I have to go down 400 and go across 285. I was not expecting to be sitting, like for real, sitting on 400 for 6 hours. So the situation was getting a little desperate, you know. I went from having all the gas I needed to not having enough, and I was hungry because, I went to work, we had the meeting, then I left. I didn't take a lunch break. I didn't have breakfast that day. I was hungry and I had to pee because I didn't take my regular 10 o'clock break because I was in the meeting. So things were pretty desperate. And it had already been 6 hours. So I decided to kind of go off course. I got off, well, when I finally got on 285, I got off at Roswell Road so I could find a gas station, to take care of my business and get some gas. And I decided to go to my sister's house because my sister doesn't live anywhere near Roswell Road, but there's a pretty easy way to get to her from there. And it should have only taken me 20 minutes. But Roswell Road was in pretty horrible shape. The direction I was going was south. Everyone else was going north, so the other side of the street was just jam-packed. And my side of the street, there was no one there, so it was all snowed and iced up. I mean, it was like ice on top of snow, on top of ice, on top of snow, and Roswell Road is not a straight street, you know, there's hills and inclines, and so it got to the point where the traffic was backed up on the south side because people just couldn't get up this little hill. You know, people would go up and they would slide back down. And, you know, I've had my fun in ice the other two situations we had, and I was not interested in doing that again. So I turned around. I was like, nope, I am not about to get into any incidents with myself or any other people. So I abandoned the idea of going to my sister's. So that put me out of my way for another, I would say 3 hours, because I think I spent about a half an hour trying to find a place that was open to go to the bathroom, because the gas stations weren't like the first things off the exit. So, you know, I stopped at a couple stores, they were closed, and, you know, then I had to go to the gas station, and of course there's always a line, and they didn't have any toilet paper, and we had to wait for them to bring the toilet paper and the paper towels, and, you know, typical. So, then of course I had to get to where I was going. That was probably another half an hour. Then I turned around and I had to get in line to get on 285. So that was like another 2 or 3 hours to get back to 285. So by the time I actually made it to 285, it was going on 10 hours already. But let me backtrack. So I turned around, and seeing as how it was quite obvious I was going to be sitting on 285 for a very long time, I desperately needed some gas. I mean, there was no way in the world. You know, my gas light was on, so, you know, you only have like 25 miles to go when your gas light is on. So I didn't have enough money to fill up, so I got slightly more than a half a tank, which was sufficient. So as I'm crawling on Roswell Road, I keep noticing the pedestrians, and I'm like, why are all these people just out here hanging out? I mean, it's cold. I mean, pretty much the whole night it was around 27 degrees. And of course, the temperatures kept falling, but roughly it was 27 degrees. And, you know, there was a wind chill of like 19, well, not 19, I think they said 9 degrees. I don't know, but it's cold and it's icy, and I'm like, why are these folks just hanging on the side of the street? I don't appreciate y'all just staring at me in my situation. That's what I was thinking. But I finally figured out what they were doing. So it was mostly guys, and what they were doing, they were just waiting on people to run into situations. For example, there was this one incline that I had to go up, and, you know, there's not much you can do with spinning tires without kitty litter, salt, sand, whatever. I mean, you know, you'll just sit there forever and spin your tires. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm stuck right here. But so the guys came to me, they knocked on my window, they was like, put it in first. Then they pushed me out, and I was very grateful for them. And I saw them running, to different people, and I was like, now that's what I'm talking about. People always talk about all the evil in the world and everyone's selfish, and people only watch out for themselves. And I mean, that might be the case in some parts of the country, but I mean, Atlanta has some really special people. I mean, I haven't lived in too many places in my life, but I always notice, the generosity that happens here is just special to me. Um, so not only were there the guys that were helping, people get out of tough spots, there were residents who lived on Roswell Road, and they were selling like bottles of water for $1. They had water and soda and candy bars, and I mean, people were just out doing what they had to do to help their fellow man, and it was just it was really amazing to me. So that was probably the highlight of the night, which was needed, after about 10 hours. So I had my cousin, Tanisha, to talk to for several hours. She doesn't live here, and she was watching my Facebook posts and watching the news and stuff, and she was just so appalled and upset that I had to be out there. And so she was like, I will talk to you all night if you want me to, if you get tired, I'm here. And I really, really, really appreciated that, and I appreciate everyone who did call me, just to make sure I was halfway decent. Yeah, that really meant a lot, and I'll explain why at the end. So I finally got on 285, and I pretty much sat in the same spot for about 3 hours. I mean, my car was in park for 3 hours. And at this point, I'm sleepy, I'm a night owl, so, I wasn't sleepy immediately, but, it was like, well, it was after midnight. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. So, I was getting sleepy, but, I'm well aware of how to keep myself awake. So, I kept turning my heat off so it could get cold, because, for most people, it's hard to fall asleep when you're, shivering. But of course, I would get too cold, and I'd turn the heat on for a couple minutes and I'd turn it off. So I turned the heat off to make it cold. I had my iPod. I turned the music up really loud, and I just sang every song, just being silly. Yeah, I mean, that's how I can stay awake. So that worked for a while. Yeah, it worked until about 5 o'clock in the morning. And it just got to the point where, the music wasn't loud enough. I didn't feel like singing anymore. And if I did sing, it was like, just I just didn't have it in me anymore to produce the energy I needed to stay awake, and I was going downhill. And so I called my cousin again, because she was like, if you feel sleepy, please call me. Wake me up. So I did. I called her, and I called my mother because I knew she would be up at that hour. Surprisingly, my sister was awake, even though she didn't have to go to work. She just got up, so I talked to her for a minute. And finally, like around 5:30ish, 6 o'clock, I don't know, whenever I made the second update, I think, yeah, things started to move. And I was like, yes, I'm going home, guys. So, but it was weird. So, like, I know 285 is always filled with trucks, you know, because that's the route trucks have to take when they go through Atlanta. But I mean, there was an abnormal amount of trucks out there. I'm like, why is it like me, a couple cars, and like 18,000 trucks? Are they in this? You know, are they trying to get somewhere to help us all out? I don't know. But um, so out of nowhere, some trucks just parked in the middle of the lanes, and so we had to go around them, and it was like an obstacle course. Like this truck would park here, so we had to go around, but this truck parked here. And you know, and I was like, why are they doing this? So, but I'm noticing that as we're going through all these trucks, the ground is looking kind of nice. I don't know if it was salt or just plain old slush, you know, that got picked up, or dirt. I don't know, but there was something on the road that was giving us some good traction, and so I was like, oh, so the DOT guys must be up front trying to clear the way for us. Cool. So I moved. I was driving 3 miles an hour. I was so happy. That was like the top speed for the whole day. Seriously. Driving 3 miles an hour, I drove about a half a mile in about 2 minutes. And I thought I was home free, but then we stopped again. So I was like, okay, you know, it's cool. DOT guys are up there, you know, so they're going to clear some more space. I'm going to move again. And, you know, like I thought it was going to be this cycle, but it didn't work that way. So I was in park for another couple of hours, and I was getting very sleepy. And I had to go to the bathroom again because it had been forever since the last time I went. And yeah, so I wanted to go to sleep, but I didn't want to miss if we started moving again, you know. So like, you know, I'm nodding and, you know, trying to, you know, talk and just keep myself awake, but it's just not working. And so finally I came to grips with the situation. I was like, we haven't moved in hours, and we're probably not. Just go to sleep, and if we start moving, I'm quite sure the person behind me will blow the horn. So, and that'll wake me up. So, you know, I got off the phone, and I tried to take a nap, but you know, like I was so paranoid that I'm gonna miss it, you know. I've had that problem my whole life, you know, like when I was a child, I always wanted to stay up late because I thought I was going to be missing something if I went to sleep. But so I had that same anxiety. It's like, well, if I go to sleep, I'm going to miss it. You know, we're going to start moving, and I'm going to be home in an hour, and I'm going to miss it. And so, you know, I would go to sleep, and I wake up, and you know, it's like, oh, not moving again, and I go to sleep for like 5 minutes and wake up, and that went on for like an hour. And finally I just gave up on the whole sleep thing. And plus it was getting to be around like 6 or 7 in the morning, and I have really weird sleep issues, and even though I'm constantly sleep deprived, around somewhere between 7 and 9 a.m., it doesn't matter how much sleep I didn't get the night before, I will get a sudden burst of energy that will sustain me for a while, sometime between 7 and 9. So pretty much, if I'm going to get sleep, I need to do it before 6 o'clock in the morning. Otherwise, I'm not going to get any sleep. So, you know, like I'm starting to feel the sleep disappear from me, even though I wanted it so bad. I was frustrated. But you know, what do you do? So, you know, we inked up a couple of times, and, you know, in between, I made a couple videos that were silly and, you know, updating you guys on Facebook. Um, oh, yeah. When I went to the gas station, I got some water and a little cereal bar because, you know, I wasn't expecting to be on the road all night. And I knew I needed the water. I mean, like, I actually felt dehydrated, but I didn't want to drink it because I was like, I'm going to have to pee really soon. There's nothing else in my stomach, you know. And, you know, even the couple of mouthfuls of water I took, it just, you know, my bladder was filling up. And so around, I don't remember what time it was, but it was daytime. Whenever I sent you guys, what was the name of the update? The one that said, the one before the home stretch. Progress, yes. Whatever time that was after I started to break down. So what was that, like around 10 o'clock maybe? No, it was 8 because I was talking to my dad. And, you know, so my dad was keeping me company. And, you know, he knew I was tired and, you know, like I wasn't saying anything. I was just like, you know, that's all I could muster up to say. So he was like, do you want me to let you go? And I got an idea, and I was like, actually, yes, I want to make a phone call. Now, I knew this wasn't going to pan out well, but, you know, when you feel helpless like we all did, any little thing you can do will make you feel empowered, even if it's the dumbest idea ever. So, you know, I'm sleepy, I haven't slept, so, you know, I'm probably a little bit delirious. And I had the idea that I should call 911. I should call 911 and request that some kind of way they get porta potties out to everyone who's stranded on 285. Now, you know, that's not a technical emergency, but it's a personal emergency. I mean, we're not made to hold our bladders for all that time. It's just not possible. And it's not healthy. And, you know, I was really feeling this. So I actually called 911. I called 911. And I prefaced the conversation by saying, you know, I'm not in an accident. I haven't had an incident. I just have a suggestion. I'm not even sure you're the right people, but, you know. So, of course, the tone in the operator's voice was like, really? You calling 911 for a toilet? But, I mean, she wasn't out there. She don't know. So, you know, she was kind of short with me. She was like, well, we're not the proper people to be making that kind of request. So I'm like, well, who is? Who should I call if you're not going to help me? So she was like, well, I don't really know, but I think that will be more in the jurisdiction of the DOT. So I was like, okay, I will call DOT then. Go run tell that, homeboy. So I called the 511, but of course, you know, bless their hearts, they were busy all night. I mean, their circuits were jammed. I couldn't even get through to an officer, whoever there. So I hung up the phone with DOT, and something happened to me. I mean, I think just the tiredness and helplessness I felt, and then knowing that the people who were supposed to be helping me could not, will not help me. Um, Man, yeah, I took an exception to that, and I don't really know what I was feeling. I just started crying, you know, for really no reason. I mean, I don't really know why I was crying, but I just, you know. So yeah. So I had my emotional outburst, and all of you guys on Facebook were so wonderful and so encouraging, and you know, um, that really, yeah. So I decided that I just needed to make things happen for myself, but I was afraid to. I mean, what if I get out and I was wearing loafers, and I was at work before all this happened, so it's not like I was dressed to be out in 27. Well, it was like it was 17 degrees at the time. I wasn't prepared for the temperature. I wasn't dressed to be out in all that. And I was like, well, what if I leave the car and, slip and fall? You know, what if, just all these what ifs. And the what ifs were keeping me in a place of fear. And I was like, God, I don't want to do this by myself. I really don't. Because at the place where I was sitting, I was about 3/4 of a mile from the next exit. And I know that exit very well. There is a gas station and a McDonald's and a Wendy's and a Walgreens and everything you could possibly want, but they're not like right on the exit, so I'd have to walk a little bit a ways. So, I had a hike to take, and I was like, I don't want to go by myself. I need someone to go with me. And so there were some people on Facebook who were trying to get me hooked up with other people who were also trapped, but of course we weren't all in the same place. And I'm like, okay. So I kept watching in all my mirrors to see if anyone would get out of their car. And I was like, if I see a person, I'm going to accost them and be like, hey, would you be willing to walk to the exit with me? I have got to go to the bathroom. So it took a while, for someone to come about. But the guy in front of me, he got out the car, and I saw he had his keys in his hand. So I was like, yes, he's going somewhere. And so, I blew my horn at him. I was like, hey, are you going, off the exit, to go to the bathroom or eat or something? He was like, oh, no, I was just going to go over there in the woods. I was like, oh, but I can't go in the woods. And so he looked at me. He was like, what choice do you have? And I was like, yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm not a Papa Squat kind of girl, I mean, I'm kind of bougie. I need a toilet and privacy and nice toilet paper. And I was like, I am not about to go in some woods. But I was desperate. And so I went with him. And so he was like, so what are you going to do? I was like, I guess I'll just keep walking until I find a place that I'm comfortable going, which was going to be nowhere because, I mean, it's not like there's actual woods. It's just a line of trees. So he was like, okay, well, I'll go ahead and take care of my business, but I'll wait for you and we can walk back to the cars together. So I was like, okay. So I kept walking, and I knew I wasn't going to do anything. But as I was walking, all the cars started moving. And I was like, yes. So I abandoned that idea and I went back so we could go to our cars and we started moving. So I moved an entire exit. It was awesome. So that's like a mile. So we sat there for a little while and I was talking to one of my good friends at the time and the inevitable happened. And I can't believe I'm about to tell you all this, but I might as well just put it all out there. You know, I haven't been in a situation like this where I cannot take care of my needs before. And like I always secretly laugh at people when I see, like, how kids and even adults, like when you need to go to the bathroom, you start dancing. But I had that feeling and I was like, oh no, this is not good at all, because I had moved past that exit and I was nowhere near walking distance to any place I could go. And I couldn't help it. It all came out. I peed in my pants. I was like, I can't believe this is happening to me. I mean, wow. But, I was tired and hungry and desperate. Honestly, I didn't really care. I mean, I was talking to my friend on the phone. She was like, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I feel great. I feel relieved. So she was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, I mean, what am I going to do? I can't do anything. So, we started creeping up, consistently. I would say from that point, it took me another, let me see, I was like around 11. From that point, it took me another 4 hours to get home. At that point, I was 7 miles away from my exit. It would have taken me 10 minutes on a regular day. And so, that was a really, really exciting time. That's when I did the video about progress and I was happy. And it's funny, I did the video after I peed in my pants, so that's probably why I was like all jovial. All the comments you guys were making, but it's out there, So, yes. To kind of cut this a little bit shorter than it needs to be, when I was about 2 miles from my exit, that's when things really, really started clearing up, and it was weird. So like I'm in a line of cars and trucks. I can see them ahead of me, but in an instant, they were all gone, and I kept looking at all the other exits and all the other on-ramps because, there's kind of like a spaghetti junction type thing where I was. And I was like, well, there's barely people getting off on 75. There's nobody coming in the opposite direction. Where did all these cars and trucks go? I don't know what happened to them. But we were in the clear. And so, like I was gridlocked all night. I was surrounded by trucks and cars, and I wasn't able to see what was going on. Like I remember reading an article last night that one of my UK friends sent me, and one of the lines in the article said that it looked like a scene from The Walking Dead. And I imagine they were talking about all the abandoned cars, but I couldn't see all that because I was I was gridlocked.
Excuse me, backup failed.
So, yeah, I know my backup failed. Sorry, my computer talks to me. I couldn't see all that. Plus it was dark and, but it was daylight and there was nothing around me. and I saw what they were talking about. I mean, lines of cars all up and down both shoulders of the highway, just abandoned. I mean, I was fortunate that I was able to stop and get gas, but some people weren't. And I mean, I saw people last night, that were helping other people by, like I saw this guy, he had one of those gas tanks, and I saw him go down to the police car, and he got another one. He went to get gas for other people who were stranded. And, some people just weren't able, I mean, my car was on for 25 hours. Of course, people were running out of gas. There was nothing people could do. And, so I saw all these cars abandoned, and, they were in no particular order. So people probably just stopped where they were because they ran out of gas in that spot. Didn't try to push the car. I mean, just leave it. They were just everywhere. And I was like, wow, this looks terrible. Everything was in total disarray. Yeah. Well, anyway, so, but yeah, so I got a good look at what was going on and what everybody was talking about. And I was just like, wow, this could have been, well, to be honest, I don't know if it could have been prevented. I mean, I know my thoughts and I know what you guys think, but I mean, there's 6 million people in Atlanta. And, when stuff happens, everybody's going to do what they got to do. And all those people and all the roads at the same time, I mean, even if the salt trucks were out before, I mean, there was nothing that could have stopped the gridlock. I don't think. I don't know. But then again, we've never had this situation before, so something had to be different this particular time. So I don't know what that thing was, but something didn't happen. I don't know. So yeah, I was home free. My exit was beautiful. I don't know whether it was DOT or like good neighbors, but the exit ramp was thoroughly lubricated, so to speak, and the roads were very nice. They were clear. I didn't have any problems getting home at all. Praise Jesus. So let me tell you what happened a couple days ago, which is very interesting for why I was in this situation. I was in a weird mood on Monday, Sunday, whenever. And I don't know whether I felt lonely. I don't think it was loneliness. I don't know what I was feeling, but I was listening to the enemy. It happens to all of us. There are times, we just start listening to all his lies. And I was like, I don't think anybody's praying for me, I don't feel like there is anybody praying for me at all. Why'd I feel that way? I don't know. I just did. And so I sent an email to my mom. I was like, are you guys praying for me? Dumb question, but I wanted to know. And of course she was like, well, yeah, of course, we pray for you every morning. Matter of fact, we're about to pray for you right now. So I was like, oh, okay. But, so, I'm in this situation, and what you guys kept telling me was, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you. You're in our prayers. Everyone was praying for me. And, it was just a wonderful outpouring of love on you guys' part. And I mean, I didn't feel guilty for asking the question. I really I felt validated. I was like, yes, there are people who care for me and, you know, are praying for me. Um, I don't know. That was weird, but I love you guys so much. Um, mm. I don't think I could have been as jovial and lighthearted as long as I was last night without you and all of your support. Yeah. I just don't know what to say to you. I mean, I'm so grateful. I'm kind of speechless. um yeah, I don't know how to thank you. I needed every single message I got, every single phone call I got. I needed it. Whether I needed it at the time or not, I needed it. And I thank you and I thank God that I know all of you, and I thank God for keeping me safe, keeping my car running. I mean, anything could have happened. Keeping my car from sliding into other cars, keeping other cars from sliding into me. Oh my God. I'm forever grateful. Mm. So that's all I have to say. I really don't know what else to say. So thank you again. I am going to go back to sleep after a little while. And I'll talk to some of you tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll look better and sound better than I do right now. So, good night, you guys. I love you.